Greetings, everybody. Welcome to a quick peek with the Heroes Peak crew. I'm your host Chris, and with me I've got James and Mike. How you guys doing?
Splendid, man. Finishing this week strong. Fantasy basketball. Let's go. Oh shit.
I'm sorry. Tonight is James and Boba. How you doing, Boba?
I'm good. How are you?
Kind of sound like him.
Yeah, that was pretty solid.
I am the new daimyo.
I'm new to it, Daniel. Well, just wait till that Wookiee gets a hold of you. He looked pretty badass.
That's right. Finally, we get some representation from the black geeks out there.
All right, so tonight we are going to be talking about Chapter 2 of Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus called The Tribes of Tatooine. We're talking about this because it was a great friggin' episode, and we have to talk about it. It was amazing. So in this, it's a continuation. If you watch the first episode where Boba gets out of the Sarlacc pit, gets taken by the why is the word not
Jawas? The Jawas?
No.
The Wookiee. Yeah, Jawa. I think they call it Jawas.
Yeah, the Jawas.
Jawas. What's the other frig? Why is
the Sand People? The Tuscan Raiders?
Tuscans? Yeah, Jesus.
They're no longer called Tuscan Raiders. Please be politically correct. They're the Tuscan tribesmen or Tuscan dwellers.
Right.
Guys.
Why are they not Tuscan Raiders?
Because the colonizers gave them the name. It was the colonizers of Tatooine that gave them their name because they falsified their history on the planet. We now know the true story. We know that they're not raiders. It was misconception from the Tatooines that were trying to paint them in a bad picture.
And they would like, and they're
okay, but the people of Tatooine didn't change what they called them, right? Or did
they? Did. You didn't listen to what they're? Did you not watch the episode?
I did watch the episode.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, they got rid of their quarterback Derek Carr anyway, and they were the Tuscan football team for a little while, and they've just they're announcing a new name coming up.
And the finale.
Right. It's going to be a new Tuscan football team. So, all right. So, yes, where he was captured by the Tuscans, and they were basically, I don't know, just setting him in the sun to bake. Poor guy, his skin was so destroyed. I just can't get over it. He saves the kid. He kills the one giant Goro monster. And so that's where we start the episode with them kind of accepting and teaching him their fighting ways and kind of giving him a little bit more leeway, giving him water and all that. So he's become more friendly with the group. And as part of this show that bounces back and forth between the past and present, we get him going up and finding out who sent the assassins after him in the first episode. So, let's just talk about one of those two time periods. You guys want to we'll quickly talk about the modern time period because it's not as exciting, but it's a little interesting, some good stuff to see. And then we'll get to the big part of the episode, which is the past with the Tuscans.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no choice.
Knock that shit off.
So, what did you guys think of the modern day period with the mayor and the huts? We saw some huts. Spoilers, everybody, just so you know. Okay, we saw a pair of the twin of huts, the big giant awesome looking Wookiee. What'd you guys think? James, what'd you think?
I thought pardon me if I can't recall off the top of my head, where did I read this from? Some random blog. But I think the twins, the Hutt twins, were featured in either one of the Legends, now considered Legends stories, or possibly in the Star Wars comics of yore, which probably is also considered in Legends now too. So these are not brand new characters that they're introducing to the show and to the Star Wars universe. They actually do have some backstory. So I thought it was cool. Obviously, I'm a sucker for good visuals and good CGI. I thought they did pretty well. There's a lot of new characters that are kind of thrown at us in the modern time, but one by the way, shout out to Jennifer Beals, who plays one of the Twilight. I think she is like the social elite type of
I think she's like the madam running the place. She
the
seems
madam
like.
running that stuff. I didn't realize it was her until the makeup was so exquisite. I didn't realize it was her until I was reading a deep dive article about it. So shout out to her.
All the Twilight makeup was on
We're
point.
hot. I can't wait
Hot.
for that cosplay this year at Comic-Con. What was very interesting to me, and I joked about it earlier, was the Wookiee, the black Wookiee. There's a scene where Janek and Boba are kind of like having the confrontation with the Hutts, and then they have their own little military, and then the pig guys, I keep forgetting the name, with the Rancor, the two pig guys that are now considered part of their lieutenants, the captains of their little crime group. Mm-hmm. They're all standing there.
Gamorrean Guard.
The who?
Gamorrean Guard.
Gamorrean Guard. Thank you.
Yeah.
So in comes, and they give you the angle shot, and it looks like it's slow motion, but it's not. Like this Wookiee is moving like very seriously with purpose, and then you see what looks like a gladiator shoulder harness from a la Hulk and Ragnarok.
One shoulder pad, dangerous guy. Just
dangerous
stay away from a single shoulder pad. Always dangerous.
And then he walks, and he introduces himself. He's walking through the scene, and you see he's dark haired, unlike his brown and fair complexion Wookiees. He's dark. He's of my ilk, my tribesman. And his eyes were piercing blue, grayish. Awesome. With that, and it looked like this dude came here to. Only need somebody to tell him go for it. He didn't have the traditional. I realized he also didn't have the traditional Wookiee bow arrow. Thank you. Mm-hmm. He just had his fists and that one rifle. Like this dude was very minimal, but it looked like he was a. He reminded me when in the old WWF days when Zeus and Hogan, remember those days when WWF and Zeus used to come and me like his stature. He's walking through the ring. And he had that crazy eye look. That's what I thought seeing this Wookiee character. I think it's called Black something. I joke again, but
I think it's Cranston.
Yeah, Black Cranston. So he was definitely one of the
Star Wars has weird names. Just
thank you. We can't even blame George Lucas anymore because he's not involved.
Right?
Yeah, they called the music jizz.
So I think it was good. And the actor who plays the mayor, who was of the other species, who actually one of them was a Jedi in the Clone Wars. Right. He was talking through a translator. I thought that was a cool addition.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because he looked like he was definitely what you consider to be a political figure in Star Wars that wasn't human.
The voice of Mayor Mock Shays is Robert Rodriguez himself.
Oh shit! Wow. He directed the first one.
Yeah, but he did not direct this one.
He's a producer on the whole season.
Yeah, so. The director is Steph Green. I'm gonna look her up while you keep going, and when it comes around.
Yeah, I mean, just not to get too long-winded, I think the introduction of a lot of these characters to me engaged me in watching this episode. This is not even thinking about the backstory yet, which we'll get into, but I like where this is going. I like the pacing a lot better in this episode than I did in the first. So that's my take.
Good tension on that scene with the twins and the Wookiee. It was just enough where you thought something might happen, but they were both kind of sizing each other up. Great tension in that scene.
Yeah, I really like the twins. It's good to see more live action Hutts, because we got a taste of it in the Clone Wars animated and some of the other series. But and props to the guys who were able to carry them.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe they had like 8 guys carrying 2 Hutts.
Had to be like a metric ton at least in weight.
Yeah, that's funny.
I did like how they made that whole thing like it bent. Like whatever they were holding them up on, I forget what it's called. So yeah, Steph Green has directed I want to make sure I'm in the right one.
No relation to Steph Green?
No, Steph Steph, Steph, almost like Curry. So a couple of episodes of The L Word, Watchmen, The Man in the High Castle.
Oh, L Word, hence Jennifer Beal being casted. Interesting.
She's got an episode of Luke Cage on here, season 1. Preacher, Scandal. So she's got some billions she's on
Oh
some
man,
good.
so she got a good resume. Okay.
Yeah. They're all 1 or 2 episodes, but they're all really high quality shows that she's
She's
on
not a
here.
stranger to TV though, so that's the point, right?
That's good. I could tell. No offense to Robert Rodriguez, but I could tell this episode was taken a little more seriously than the first episode. For good or for bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just wonder, like, if you're right. If she has an eye for TV, how to create, and she doesn't have big windows a whole season to make stuff happen. She's got to make her mark in a short period of time with these characters, and she did
The
that
But
in this
episode felt
episode.
that's
tight. It felt
yeah,
tight,
Yeah,
lean, and yeah.
exactly.
but that's how most TV directors are. They don't direct. Most TV directors don't direct entire seasons of stuff. Like if you look at most shows, each show will have a different director.
All
So
right.
they'll do maybe 1 or 2 episodes of a season, but for the most part, they'll switch up directors.
All right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes here. It was a good part. So
Do it.
after
Do
this
it.
wonderful little tension filled scene, we get
Star Wars meets Snowpiercer.
that's right. We flash back, and there's this
Sons of Anarchy. A little bit of Sons of Anarchy.
That's true.
and going back a little bit to the its Western roots. These older pieces. I mean, this show is really doing it. It wasn't as I didn't feel it as much in the first episode, but this episode definitely felt it with this kind of train heist or train
Mm.
stop or whatever you want to do it. Boba has to uh, Boba trains a little bit, and then there's like this train that passes by and shoots random members of the tribe, and he tells them he's gonna stop the train, and the most of the episode is about him stopping the train to help the tribe that he's with, and then them accepting him basically as part of them
Mhm.
for the work he's doing for them. And it was just overall a great episode, top to bottom. Everything there had great action, had great motion, good fun character beats. It just had all the stuff you want from one of these episodes. I'll start with you this time, Mike. What did you think of this part?
Yeah, I found that really enjoyable, especially the him training with them and their communications and I was watching my son and I said, "Look, this is the most I've learned more about the Sand People in this episode than I did watching 9 movies."
Right. uh,
So
Shout out to Joanna Bennett. She is the stunt actress. She's been in tons of all the superhero movies we've seen. But she was the main Tuscan warrior that you see training Boba and doing the big action beats.
right, and I liked how he started with that training stick, and then eventually they got him that piece of. He had to go on his quest to get the wood, and
Oh, I
then
forgot the
yeah,
the nose.
right.
That's near the end, though. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's towards the end. But I mean, in between, we had the great training montage with the speeders
Mm-hmm.
to go forward and go back, and yeah,
I love the montage, man. Everybody loves
right.
them.
So lots of good humor on that one, and when we got to the actual train heist, I thought that was well done, well executed. So
What did you think of the surprise cameos from the deleted scenes of the original Star Wars? Did you
yeah,
hear
I thought
about
that was
this?
interesting too. I wasn't expecting that at all with little Boba there. So
No. So there
what
are
are you talking
two
about?
actors. So when Boba
In the biker gang.
goes to steal the bikes from the biker gang.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
there's two humans in that bar that he saves. Those two humans are Luke's friends he was gonna go see
At the
in
Tosche
Oh,
episode
at
station.
Tashi Station.
in
Oh, okay.
episode 4. But
I
this
didn't know
scene got
until I
cut.
found the article about it
Oh
too.
no,
So don't
we
worry.
had
I
no
had no
idea.
idea.
I read it.
Okay.
And so that was I think this is Murphy Patrick Martin as drummer and Mandy Kowalski as Cammy. I believe those are the two actors and the characters. And yeah, those are the original characters and actors in from that scene. So talk about just a tight little link that unless you're the super geekiest geek or you read all this stuff after the fact, you'd never get. But it's a cool little Easter egg.
I don't know if I should feel sad for those characters that
They haven't gone anywhere.
that nothing's they're still sitting around at the bar.
Yeah, but life would have been a lot worse if they had followed Luke and done what Luke went through. They probably would have been dead. So,
No, they're probably going. I don't know. Luke said he was gonna be
Yeah.
here. It's only been 30 years. What the fuck's going on?
No, it's not. Well, it's not been 30 years. So.
Oh no! This is 5 years, maybe.
it's been more than that because 5 years after Return of the Jedi, 4 years within the trilogy, so about 9 years.
No. It's only 5 years because this is directly after he gets out of the
Jedi.
Sarlacc pit.
Right, so it's about 4 or 5 years.
So,
give or
yeah, about
take.
4 years, right?
Yeah, but they're like still going to the bar every day. Shit, man, when's he coming around? I wonder what happened to that kid.
So you think we should stop by? Good, and they'll see that.
Bury his Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Or
Yeah, right.
Fucking skeleton corpse out there.
Yeah.
They aren't because we saw Ray. Well, somebody went and buried. So
That was
maybe
30
Ray-
years later. Yeah.
That was
right.
30 years
That's-
later.
So that's just sand covered. They no one ever moved him. All right. Anyway, James, what did you think of this portion?
No, I think Mike hit the one that I really want to talk about was the heist. I mean, not the heist, the montage. I really love the montage. I love the fact that they show you, because what's happening in the montage, you don't realize it, is you're invested not just in Boba, but the Tuscan dwellers as well. Like, you see they're failing, like they're showing progression. Okay, now they know how to move the vehicle, but now they need to learn how to accelerate. And now they're doing the jumping across, and they fail. And if they fail, you feel it too. And by the end, when they all get it and they're in sync, internally, you're doing like a little hooray. Like, all of a sudden you realize, I care about these people. Like, holy shit, I didn't care about them. Like Mike said, in previous 9 movies, I was like, these dudes are like fucking pirates. But now I'm like, yo, this is pretty cool. The other thing I like about this sequence, and just the Tuscan people, I jest about them being recognized as not Raiders, is because, and Chris and I, we've been going head to head for years about the Disney sequel movies and what works, what doesn't work. We have a difference of opinion. But I think, and you may or may not agree with this, is what does seem to work so far, at least with the Disney shows, is you don't have to introduce a brand new character into the Star Wars lore and expect us to like it, because usually that just splits the fandom in half. Rey, Kylo, whatever. You're gonna half the fandom is gonna be like, "Yay, this is a new way of doing it." No, I want my old droid, whatever. But what does work so far with the Clone Wars, with Rebels, Mando, and now this show, is you give us something old and you kind of repackage it and give me new information that I didn't know I wanted. I didn't think I cared about the Tuscans. I didn't think I thought I was tired of seeing Tatooine. Like,
We all
we're back on this fucking Wild West desert planet. Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of until this show, I was like, please no more Tatooine. Now, after this episode, I'm like, there's some history in this little dusty planet. There's people that kind of care about. I'm a little more interested. And I think that formula, Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, if they keep following that formula in the next couple of content, Obi-Wan, whatever, I think you're going to get a more accepted group of fandom is going to be saying, you know what, I like this. I like where this is going. I'm not going to be like toxic. No, I don't want my Rey Skywalker now becoming. No, give me something about it, something that's already been established. Spin it or give me more info about it and make me care about that kind of idea. A lot of the touches.
So if I remember right, back when they did Solo, Star Wars Story, they were talking about Boba Fett, Star Wars Story. They were going to do a movie. And I'm kind of glad they nixed that for this series, man.
That wouldn't have worked.
And to build on what James was talking about, I think what we have here is you have the main through line of all of these Star Wars is the Skywalker saga. Blah blah blah. That's a thing, and I think that's the third rail you pretty much have to avoid. What was great about this is happening. That's happening somewhere. It's doing its own thing. It's affecting the universe, yes, but this tribe of Tuscans is not affecting the universe. This is literally about whether day to day a couple of them or their banthas get shot because this train that spice running is just going through their lands, and they really can't do nothing about it, right? So this is kind of that slice of life, day in the life, what's happening here. That even no matter what happens in this scene, even almost entirely on this planet, seems completely devoid of what's happening in the major overarching power struggle that is Star Wars. And I think that's what we've been missing out on is that's cool. I love to see giant Jedi battles, but to to get to be a universe like MC universe, right? Is
Mm,
you have to be able to step to the side and see what someone else is doing. One of the things we
right,
loved about Netflix MCU when it was separate its own thing was that Daredevil was getting his ass kicked in a warehouse somewhere and it didn't affect Iron Man. I think the
right.
same thing here is I'm loving this power struggle, but it's a power struggle about day-to-day living that no matter who lives or who dies, it will not affect the entire rest of the universe. The Emperor won't know, Luke Skywalker won't show up. I hope not. Like just let it be.
Right,
Let it
right.
be
To
its
compare,
thing.
yeah, and to go on what you're saying, like with MCU and Star Wars, not everything is a galactic event. You have people dealing with local issues, like Daredevil was. He was a Hell's Kitchen guy. All his stuff happened, within 10 square blocks. So,
Right.
and the same thing with here. We're dealing with just one planet. So,
One
I
tribe of one planet, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can make interesting stories and still be part of the bigger picture, but you're just focusing on that one thing for now, which is good too. So,
And I hope I like that mostly about Mandalorian, even with the final reveal at the end that where Grogu goes, and it may have some ripple effects, but for the most part, it was pretty self-contained,
right.
and outside of one appearance. So in this case, this is another thing where it's feeling very self-contained. If the entire thing happens on Tatooine near the Mos Eisley Cantina in Mos whatever the name of the city is. Like that's cool. Like just let it be here and tell me this story that doesn't affect everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get a good story of a power struggle. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
who's gonna come out on top at the end? So,
Yeah, and
I am curious though, as we talk about the present day storyline and then the backstory. At what point will we get like a merge of timelines? Like in my mind, I'm thinking they're giving us this backstory not only to explain to you how Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit and was able to eventually get off Tatooine and become something different, but I think they're giving us these stories and examples to show you what he will become in the present day once the whole crime struggle kind of like comes to an end.
right.
And we only have like 8 episodes, right? Only 8 episodes. This is episode 2.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we have 6 more episodes to kind of wrap up the show.
yeah,
So
that's be interesting. I don't know what it's going to become because he did not stop the spice flow. He didn't say you don't run your drugs through my town. He said, "No, you just got to pay these people and then you're
yeah,
good."
Some tribute,
taxes.
right?
And he's like, "Oh, this works. I can do this. I can shoot some drug runners and whatnot, and collect some taxes. This is a good gig." Okay, so I don't know. I've seen a lot of people talking about how this, we're seeing this built up out of the Sarlacc pit to show how he became a new man, and
Yeah,
as
that's what
opposed
I think.
to
That's what I think.
what he was. So yeah.
All right,
All
want
right.
to wrap it up with the backstory and the ending of that?
Oh,
How, yeah, how
so
he becomes a fully fledged member of the Tuscan
yeah,
tribesmen.
this was an absolute killer ending to this episode. I don't know who wrote it. I should look it up. We should call him out. Um,
Good point.
maybe it's John Favreau, Noah Clore, and John Favreau and George Lucas are the three writers.
Wait,
No, no,
stop the
no. George Lucas is just it's based on
All
George
right.
Lucas's Star
I
Wars.
was about to say they got him to write.
No,
No
no, no,
way.
no, no, no. The
I hope not, because honestly, he's not the best writer.
yeah,
He's
people
not.
people
He's
That's
weren't
not.
why I would.
stand people
You
weren't
can see the
standing
big difference
still
between
and
episode 4 and 5 and 6,
no,
right?
no,
So
Yeah.
no.
anyway,
So
save
John
that for
Favreau
another.
and Noah
Yeah.
Clower. So it ends with they've successfully done the train heist. These people are they've stopped this constant threat that's happening through their lands, and now most likely have a constant source of income, which would be really cool. So they basically bring them in. They do this cool little ceremony. Uh, One thing I noted is that they don't translate what they're saying, right?
Right.
So it's really cool because everything is
I like that. Yeah, me too.
What Boba says, and you infer everything
I,
past that.
I put the captions on, and it tells you Huttonese angry
Right,
language. Like it doesn't
right,
tell you what it
exactly.
just tells you what they're
So
speaking in, but not what
so
they're
they
saying.
a lot of great work by the director getting what she wants you to see it want you to understand out of the characters. So they go through this little ceremony. He gets like this lizard, and he's like, "Oh, cool! We got
Oh,
pet."
I forgot
And
about the
then
lizard.
it runs up his nose, and it sends him into like a peyote
Yeah.
drug trance, and he
I'm
wanders.
not gonna lie. At that moment, I had a terrible memory of Mortal Kombat 2. I think it was when Liu Kang had like that Vision quest. I'm like,
Oh
please,
no!
oh no! I was like, for 2 seconds, I was like, oh no, please, no, 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 don't do this, don't do this.
Right.
And I'm so
Find
glad.
your animality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
it was a relatively short scene here where he goes wandering off into the desert by himself again. Poor guy, poor skin. Ugh, no wonder he's living in a back tank. So
mm,
he's wandering through the desert, totally hyped up on Lizard, and he having visions of the sea. Now, what you've heard in this maybe in this episode is that this world used to be an ocean, and the oceans have all dried up. So he's having visions of these crashing waves and whatever until he finds this dead tree, and the dead tree, you see it in the water, and then he like takes a branch and he makes it all the way back, and then the lizard jumps out of his nose again, and he brings him the stick from the tree, and they're basically like, oh, okay. And they point him over and bring him into the hut, and then they dress him like one of them, not with the mask,
I
but
thought that.
Right.
Yeah, I thought they're gonna put the mask on. I'm like, wait a minute, why would they
yeah,
didn't?
no,
I'm glad
he
they did
didn't get a
not.
mask. He's not full, but they had the whole burlap outfit. I'm assuming it's burlap. I don't know what other cloths look like that, but that would be wholly uncomfortable. I hope it's not burlap. Um, he looks cool. It's a really dope black
It's
outfit.
Egyptian cotton.
That's right. They have some silkworms they're finding. So, and then they take him to this other hut, and it's a craftsman shop, and they have him work that stick that he got into one of the cool staffs that they have.
So
Now,
fucking dope that he
I
did
now
that.
want one. I absolutely want one.
Again, it shows you that these people, these tribesmen, have history. There's
Mhm.
culture there. There's more to them than just being like the
Right.
fucking loop.
And so they uh, after he makes the staff, and they go back, and there's like a bonfire, and they're all around, and he starts doing the practice staff with the other warrior, Tuscan warrior, and then they all join in into a kind of a proto haka. So Tamir Morrison is a Maori descent, and he said in an interview that he wanted to bring that into this, and
Oh, I
so
didn't know that. That's
yeah,
his background.
and
Okay, I thought he was like Indonesian, but yeah, okay.
no, he's New Zealand. He's from New Zealand,
Yeah.
and he's a Maori descent, and so basically they were doing a sort of a haka um, with the staff, and it was after this entire episode, 2 episodes, where you see him ingratiate himself and help them, and them teach him, and then he helps them with what they taught him, and he didn't do all the winning. Like the warrior came in, and she's the one who does the final. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It all.
When I was worried during the celebration of him being adopted into the tribe, there was a part of me I was thinking, is this sowing the seeds of discontent between the tribes, where they're looking at this dude as an outsider who came in, who learned their ways, learned how to fight with their ways, and then helped them in this major train heist. Now is adopted by the tribe. What's the main tribes do? Like, maybe he might feel threatened. I'm thinking, are they going to give us this angle where all of a sudden, like, the tribe is split because of his feats of heroism is like unmatched. Like, this dude came in and like did some crazy stuff.
Well,
So
we'll see in the future episodes. I don't think for this tribe, because they've mentioned that there are multiple various tribes of Tuscans
they
around
did. Yeah, you're right.
the
You're right. You're right.
world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, don't
you
forget
may.
that
Mhm.
our
Go ahead.
Mandalorian was also, was on good terms with some of them too, right? So
Yeah, he
True.
could communicate, and he
yeah,
respected them as member. Like, he was like, "Don't shoot them, dude. They're
right.
they're locals. Like, that's stupid." Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so the Mandalorians know, right? So yeah,
yeah,
it was a real great, well produced scene that was full of emotion without having to be overly explained.
Yeah.
You knew what was happening, and I hope this friendship does something good further on. I hope he does stuff for them, even if they clash with another thing, and he's like, "But hey, I'm an honorary Tuscan," and they're like, "No, I don't think so." Like, you can do
I
that
mean,
kind of
I
thing.
would love it in the finale. He's at a pinch point with whatever shadow
The
organization
Huts,
he's sticking him.
yes,
And then at the last minute, the Tuscans come to help out one of their own. That'd be cool if they do it
yeah,
right.
yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I mean. Great use of like you said, James, of people that were there, an alien species that was there, that was just this flat, whatever they were. They're just these people who are a danger when you're in the desert, right? And Luke, having lived there all his life, knew nothing about them. Obviously, right? He just avoided them. Obi-Wan was just like, yeah, they're just afraid. These cats, right? And so now they've taken that. It's like that toy. They found it and went, I could do something with this, and they built
Hmm.
something cool out of it. I mean, the same thing with Boba Fett himself. I mean, Boba Fett was a
Right.
6 minute cool costume that turned into something more interesting and got fleshed out. Let us know, guys, everybody, what you think of the show so far. I We think that this second episode just turned the volume up to 11 on this show. We were worried after the first episode it was going to be a bit pale, but it looks great. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Mike, where can they find us and respond?
So follow us on social media at Heroes Peak, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Leave a comment on our video. Let us know what you think of the show, what you think of some of the characters, and the not Tuscan Raiders anymore.
Thank
Don't
you.
forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell in the corner for updates. And
Also, please share this content. If you like it, please share it with your friends. If you dislike it, share it with your friends and have troll us. That's great too.
Show us. All right.
exactly.
Thanks, guys. We'll see everybody later.
Night.